you see that Brian Cox is on the bill for a West End show, you don't think twice, right? You just go and buy a ticket and go see that show. Or at least that's what I thought. And I went to see Long Day's Journey into Night. But now when I'm seeing the play and what I thought about it, I'm not sure if this was the best decision. Let me spill the tea. For all Succession fans, this theater season has been amazing for seeing some of the lead actors on stage. Starting with Sarah Snook on the West End in Dorian Gray, Jeremy Strong on Broadway in An Enemy of the People, and then Brian Cox in Long Day's Journey into Night is just a cherry on top. These actors have created some amazing characters on screen, and personally, I have been so excited to be able to go and see Brian Cox on stage and see if that Logan Roy powerhouse is just to do with a character that has been so well fitted for this actor, or he can replicate it for another one. Which brings me to my first point. Long Day's Journey into Night and Succession are quite different on the surface. However, when it comes to the core themes that they are exploring, it does boil down to family relationships. And Brian Cox in this play is in the role of a father figure, husband, a patriarch, which, rings a bell with Logan Roy as well. The main difference is that this play is set at the beginning of the 20th century in rural America in Connecticut. While the conversations that the families are having are quite different, this all boils down to not feeling accepted, to having issues with your father, with your mother, how these relationships are interacting with each other, and ultimately how people fail to be who they want to be. And this play isn't only special because of the accolades it received, but it also represents an autobiographical piece from Eugene O'Neill. And in fact, when he died, he asked for this play not to be published for 25 years after his death. And famously, his wife decided for this to be published earlier. It kind of represents very much the struggles he faced in his own family and family relationships that were very familiar to him. So with all these things considered, Long Day's Journey into Night sounds like a pretty special watch. And don't get me wrong, it was. But I think it's important to know that this is a type of play that will resonate with certain type of theater goers more than others. When I say certain type, I mean more of the serious type theater goers who really enjoy slower paced one-on-one scenes, monologues, or just dialogues. There isn't a lot of things to engage you apart from the words. And there's part of me that really enjoy this at times. However, this is a 3-hour long play. So it's just a disclaimer out there so you are aware. This play really reminded me of The House of Bernardo Alba, Crucible, The Hills of California as well. It is that type of play that really soaks you in with its steady pace. And this really caused people to be a little bit restless because I think just generally our attention spans are so low these days. And it's kind of hard to follow a journey of 4 characters without a lot of changes in the set, or generally there aren't a lot of things that happen apart from these characters talking to each other. I think that this is in a way the beauty of this play, and the more is less, as Jeremy Herrion, who is the director of the play, has said. But you definitely need to be into this style of play in order to fully admire it, because there isn't a lot to entertain you or to keep you engaged. But one thing that definitely kept me engaged is Brian Cox. I was absolutely blown away by his performance, and it was such an interesting thing to witness that when he enters the stage and he starts interacting with the rest of the characters, I just felt that the whole scene got elevated. And maybe because I personally like him as an actor and I really loved his performance of Logan Roy, going to see this play, I was thinking, is this going to be too similar to Logan Roy and that type of a role? Obviously, it is set in a completely different environment, but still, there are quite a lot of similarities between these two characters. I was fearing that I'm just going to recognize some of his ways that he dealt with Logan Roy as a character with this one, but it was not the case. And there were some amazing scenes in this play when he was standing opposite of his son and having a conversation heart to heart with him, and they were so deep and so engaging and so truthful and so honest that I really felt like I'm in presence of acting greatness. If you are a fan of Brian Cox, this is such an amazing character to go and see him as, because it would just unite your love for him from maybe some other roles you've seen him and make you admire him as an actor even more. The play is pretty slow and the pace does not pick up at any point. All of these characters just feel like they are in their own little worlds, and they are, and they have so many issues and they're trying to talk to each other but they can't, and everyone's kind of like faking it in front of each other until they lose it in front of each other, and then just things go back to normal, but what's normal doesn't seem normal. And I think it is something that maybe could resonate with certain people more than the others in terms of just general family issues that every family has in different forms. The pace of this play is very steady, and I kind of found it hard to engage with it because I just wanted something to make me feel excited or to make me feel curious. There were maybe some instances, but like it did not feel like it was substantial enough to make me feel engaged for over 3 hours that this play lasted. And I think that is probably my biggest reservation about this play and the biggest shortcoming, but I do think this might be due to generally like my preference for a different type of plays. If you like American family dramas as a play, then this would be the perfect one for you to go and see. On a more practical side, the theater is only 800 seat capacity, and this does cause for tickets to be a little bit more expensive, probably alongside Brian Cox being in it, and that is something to take into consideration if you're planning to see it. Maybe play a lottery if your budget is lower. I was really high up and I paid my ticket £40, so probably if you want to treat yourself and enjoy this play, I would highly recommend to actually splash out a little bit more money to go into the stalls or Royal Circle rather than all the way on the Grand Circle, because it's too steep, and with not a lot of happening on stage and a lot of things being front stage, it can get a little bit dizzy if you aren't used to being in those seats. Seeing Brian Cox live on stage has definitely delivered to my expectations. I maybe wish that it was a slightly different play that I went to see that would engage me more with both its theme and the way that it is delivered, but I do think that for everyone who likes these kind of plays, this is a great watch, so go and check it out until June when this play closes. If you're curious to hear out how I like Sarah Snook in Dorian Gray, then check out this video.